Okay, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm just going to do a very simple web scraping activity. So I'm going to pull the weather off of this site, timeanddate.com, in Python. And for today, I'm just going to show you how to display this in the command prompt. But in future videos, I'm hoping to create a nice little desktop visual. So it'll be an app that will just display the weather, and maybe we can add the time and a few other fancy things to the actual widget once we develop it a little further. But for now, we're just going to display it in our command prompt, right? Okay, I'm going to be using Atom, and I've already got Python downloaded onto my computer. I'm using Python 3. The only other thing that we're going to be using for this is Beautiful Soup. We're also going to be using the URL lib. But for Beautiful Soup, if you don't already have it, you can go ahead and just pip install this through the command prompt. Beautiful Soup is a great way to parse HTML and access web data. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be doing here, I've got just a blank Py file. We're going to be pulling in the modules that we need, so we're going to be using URL lib, and from this we're going to use .request. URL lib, we'll use the parse, and we're also going to be using error. And then from that Beautiful Soup, so we'll say bs4 import Beautiful Soup. Okay, so now we've pulled in what we need. I'm going to allow the user to actually input the city. So we're going to say city input, and we're going to allow the user to actually go ahead and put something in here. So we'll say enter a US city, and to make it a little more uniform, we're going to say user input is, or city input is equal to city input lower. This will just make the text coming in a little bit more uniform. Now, I will point this out. If you go into here, you know, it's totally possible that someone is looking for, instead of Cleveland, Ohio, they might be looking for, let's say, Cleveland, Tennessee, which is a little bit of a less major city. But if we just search Cleveland, Ohio, which is, you know, beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. If we look at the URL here, it's USA Cleveland. If we go back to Chicago, which is another major US city, it's, you know, .com, weather, USA, Chicago. So this weather, USA, and then the city name is common. But if we were to go to that Cleveland, Tennessee, it is going to be a little different. If it's a less major city, it's going to actually have the state name there too. So for the moment, we're not going to worry too much about that. We're going to assume that the user is entering a valid major US city. So maybe we should even put in here a major US city. And so for right now, let's just keep it simple. Okay, so once the user does that, we're going to generate a URL, which, as I just pointed out, a lot of it is going to be very, very similar for all of these cities. So we're going to assume that this base is going to stay the same, and that whatever the user enters is going to be put on the end of this. So we'll add city input here. Okay, now we get to use our URL lib module a bit. So our HTML file, we're going to call out with URL lib, and we're going to call on the request function URL open. We're going to put our URL into this, and then we're going to go ahead and read. Okay, and now we actually need to parse this out. So we'll say that soup is equal to Beautiful Soup, and we're going to toss our HTML into this. And Beautiful Soup has this great way to parse this, otherwise it comes out looking pretty messy. And you just call html.parser inside of Beautiful Soup. It's great. Okay, so this is actually going to give us some HTML. And then to pull out what we want, let's say, well, again, we're just trying to keep things as simple as possible for this first video. Let's say we want the the city, and just the temperature. So let's go ahead and pick a major U.S. city. Let's say we're looking for Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, there we go. Birmingham, Alabama, 66 degrees, beautiful night in Birmingham. Let's say we want this location and we want the temperature. So what we can do is we'll say we want a location and we want temperature. What we can do is go into our HTML, which I've called soup, and we can find something. And within HTML, if you're not familiar with HTML, you have basically just a bunch of tags. And I'll close this for a second. So if you're on a web page, you can just go ahead and right-click on that web page and hit inspect. It's on a Windows machine inside of Google Chrome. And once I'm inspecting, this is actually going to pull up all of the HTML for this web page. And what you can do is just click on this little icon up here and scroll over what you're looking for. So I want this city name, so I'm just going to click on that, and that's going to highlight over here where this is. And what I can do within Python now is call out where the class is equal to this PG title __ title, and that's going to actually give me this text, but I have to call for the text. So we'll tell our code here, find where class is equal to PG title __ title, and then get the text from that class. So that should give us a location that we're interested in here. Space it out a bit to make it clear. And then the other thing we want is the temperature. So we're going to do the same thing for temperature. We'll say soup find, and let's see what the class name is for the temperature. So we'll go back up here, we'll scroll over our temperature, and the class is equal to h2. Now h2 is also a tag, but because we're calling for class, let's hope that nothing else is class name h2 here. And we'll get text on that as well. Okay, so this has been surprisingly easy, right? The last thing that we're going to do here is print this off to the user. So we'll say location, and we'll feed it location. And then we'll also print temperature for the user. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. And we'll hop into the file that it's in. I think this is called, oh yeah, here we go. Put it up here, Python web scraping, and then this is just get. Oh, we're actually inside of weather app, and then get weather dot by. All right, let's see if it works. Okay, so we get our input. We'll go ahead and put in Birmingham, and there we go. That's our location. Weather in Birmingham, Alabama, USA. Again, that is right here. And then the temperature, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's right here at 66. So it must have updated since we ran it. 66, yeah, there we go. Now it's 65. Okay, well, there you have it. I hope you learned a little bit something about web scraping. These URL lib and especially beautiful soup are just really nice codes for web scraping. And